Hello, everyone. This is Dante Suave, Mystah Jay, and this is United World of Sports.
What's going on, people?
And now I will elaborate. I could have swore after the first time that Amanda Nunes beat her, she took some time off, came back, fought Amanda again, lost again.
No, that was Holly Holm.
Well, I remember that one.
Right.
But I could have swore that she fought Amanda once, lost, took some time off, came back, lost to her again, then went to the WWE. But
No.
apparently, they only fought once.
They only fought one time.
Yeah, because I'm sitting up here looking at it, and I'm like, wait a minute, where's her in the loss to Amanda? It's like, okay, all right, well, uh, details can get murky when losses happen. It is what it is. Um, So, yeah, speaking of that card, let me get it pulled up because, in my opinion, and I was talking about this at work, the the problem that I see MVP having with quote unquote trying to compete with the UFC,
hmm
whether it's boxing or whether it's now MMA, can they produce more often than not? And either one, fights that are worth watching, main events that are worth watching specifically. Because, in my opinion, based upon what happened, out of all the fights, the main event was last in terms of best fights.
Yeah, it was. Um, I think one of the things that's going to hurt them is that they are trying to go with people that are close to the back end or out of their prime
Exactly. That's another problem.
in order to try to build this. The only fight that I would want to see them put on right now, realistically, is Jones and Ngannou.
Right.
Other than that, what can you give me that would be appealing to me? Unless you start going to poach bare knuckle championships
I,
and things like that in order to build that up. What
I
are you gonna poach except
yeah,
for
yeah,
has been?
yeah, I couldn't care less about Mike Perry versus Jake Paul. I mean, I I'm glad
I
they
couldn't care less about Jake Paul after he got his jaw rocked by Joshua.
Yeah, and apparently he gonna be ready to go in 3 months.
No.
Um,
He paying somebody to let him be able to go.
um, so to me, all right. So in terms of fights, oh, okay. Apparently I missed some fights. I will try to go back and watch those, and I'll talk about those next week if I can find them. But apparently I missed a fight though.
Oh,
That Adriano Moraes and Fumi and Kuta. Apparently, I missed that fight because I don't remember seeing that fight when I
I
watched.
don't. I forgot it was coming on because I was watching Devil May Cry season two. I'm not going to hold you. I was all into that. I had to catch
Yeah,
up.
I already went through that went through that one already. And as much as I like it, I'll still go with the original that I have on DVD because I don't like this thing that they do when they do these remakes and then they gotta create a love interest. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, the girl.
The original, he had females that liked him, but he wasn't there. He was completely oblivious to it. I would have been better with that. Uh,
Yeah.
I, I would have been better if they had stuck with the original formula while adding what they added to it because everything else was cool.
And I know, folks. I know we got off of there, but that's how minor the whole fight card was with that.
Well,
Um,
now
It, it,
like I
it got,
said,
eh,
like I said, that the best fight on the card, and it ended up being a massacre, was that Saladin Pernasi versus Kenneth Cross. To me,
yeah,
that was the best fight,
yeah,
and it ended up ending in a massacre.
yeah.
Um, Next would have been Felipe started off giving Ngannou a go.
Yeah,
And
he started to, but I don't even think they made that knockout seem like he like rocked him. He clipped him.
well, it was because of like how he landed and he just didn't move after that. I was expecting him to try to get up and he just landed and then he just didn't move.
I was
So
just
they
like,
so the ref just had to go with it.
I think it
Um,
was a lucky clip because Ngannou didn't look like he was disciplined in his stance or in his fight motion.
but he was catching him though.
He was catching him, but that's
He
what Ngannou does. I'm sorry. We've had this conversation about the Nigerian triangle,
yeah.
and
Who speaking of you see Usman in his corner, right? Yeah, yeah. When they showed him, um, when they showed him, before while they was announcing, Usman was behind him.
he is wrong.
Well, yeah.
Right?
So let's see. Like I said, Saladin Cross was first. Francis and Lands by default. You could make the Junior is his jaw is done. I just even when Cain Velasquez was talking about it, you heard it in his voice. He sounded uneasy.
Mm-hmm.
He was worried about Junior in that fight,
But
and
they,
he didn't want to say it, but you just seen how he seemed to be like dancing in his comment, and there was a sound of concern to me in my opinion. And because he obviously they had some bangers, and he does after all they bangers, they did end with a overall respect for each other.
right.
So, um, but yeah, it was like, um, if somebody was to say that they picked the Nick Diaz Mike Perry fight and then Junior Diaz and Robelis, I can't argue. You could flip flop those. Either one could be three or four. Both of them were basically massacres, and I saw Nate Diaz's press conference before I watched the fight, and as soon as the fight started, and I saw how Nate came out, I went, bro, you got to understand, you older. You got to stop smoking
Mm-hmm.
because you were not that just ah it just he was trying to do what he usually do, and he can't do that no more if he gonna keep fighting. His cardio has to be, it's harder to keep your cardio. I haven't been running consistently every week, but I have been doing it over the past few months, and I just now had a run yesterday that I was satisfied with in terms of more running, less stopping, not much walking. It just, yeah, you get older and that cardio talks to you. That metabolism and the cardio talks to you. I would like to see Robelis Despain against somebody more on his level age wise, because I felt like part of the reason why Junior was getting clipped was because basically he his spacing was right where Robelis needed him to be.
Mm-hmm.
and he was trying to lure him in because he had his hands down. Now I want to see you do that against somebody younger and more spry. I want to see you try that.
And I think,
That has hands and a chin.
yeah, and that's why I said, like, I get, we've already had discussions about the Pauls and their culture vulture setup for the whole thing. We've had this discussion.
Yeah,
I don't want to take away from their matchmaking ability. I like their matchmaking ability. But the biggest thing that I want people to understand is it's all money grabs. The
right.
whole thing was a money grab. And now it instantly, and here's the other part of it that that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. When did when did Ariel Hawani leave ESPN?
It was a very long time ago.
But I could have swore he still had posts up there for their MMA up there for it. I might be wrong. And I know L. Duncan just left.
Uh-huh.
So you banking on the people that's in the notoriety that you got from there. Then you automatically got John Jones, which we all know John Jones is going to be an opportunist.
Yeah, I'm it and uh yeah, that's gonna get ugly. That I already know. I know Dana. Dana is I guarantee you he could say whatever he wants to the media. I guarantee you he was livid when he
Dana's going to
heard
block him from fighting.
well,
I think that,
he's not trying to fight anybody there anyway. So
right, but
at least from the outside looking in, it doesn't appear that he's trying to get back in the UFC octagon. It
no,
doesn't
he
appear.
said no, they said that he said it on the telecast. He wants out of his contract.
Yeah, he wants out of his contract so that he can fight Francis. He's he
And
really
Dana's not going to do that because here's the thing. Dana and I get Dana's principle for it, and I'm going to tell you why. You have done some of the dumbest shit that I've ever seen while you've been the face of my company. And I've been right there standing up for you and being in your corner all the time.
and the other part is where he's going.
Right.
If he was going somewhere other than to Jake Paul, other than to
I don't think he
Francis.
would have cared. I really don't think he would have cared because if that was the case, then he would have pitched a fit about Ngannou.
Well, he was done with Ngannou
When Ngannou did this shit.
Ngannou took that L. He was like, prove my point. Like I said, this is why I didn't want to do it, and he left it alone from there. He never mentioned another thing about it, and
Right.
he was like that was the reason why when fighters asked me could they do it, I said no because as soon as he lost, what was the first thing everybody said? What's going to happen to his MB, his MMA career now? Like he just took this L, a L that nobody saw coming, and it looked ugly. So now his stock done went down. And again, like I said, I started laughing as soon as I heard about it. Matter of fact, I think me and you talked about it. I I instantly busted out laughing. As soon as I seen that he had lost, I went, I know Dana having fun with this. He could get in front of a camera and he can act as professional as he want. But I know when them cameras turn off, I know he laughing his butt off. You
And
can
it's And that's why I'm saying, like, with Ngannou, it was a little bit of a different thing when it comes to that. But even with Ngannou, the situation with Ngannou is different than the situation with John Jones. John
yeah,
Jones owes basically his entire career to Dana stepping up and being in his corner throughout everything.
yeah. And
So
that's
now Now because you can't get what you want, now you pitching a hissy fit for it. And if I was Dana in that aspect of it, I'm looking at you like you ungrateful. So why would I sit there and let you do it? Or if I know for a fact that this is either Dana's not gonna release him or Dana's gonna release him because he knows for a fact that What's can beat him. That Ngannou can beat him, and that would be the most tarnishing thing on his legacy. Because pretty much it's only two people. It's two people that's left that John Jones needs to beat to go down to where he's the GOAT of all GOATs. Ngannou and Pereira.
I don't know. I don't know about Pereira.
Why?
And Ngannou, I could definitely say because Ngannou was like they were both in the UFC at the time.
Right,
John had he was pretty much mostly out when Pereira got up there.
right.
So
But even with that being said, though, right now Pereira's the only person that held the heavyweight, light heavyweight, and welterweight title. If Pereira goes on to dominate the only thing that Jones would have over Pereira is that Jones was undefeated.
yeah,
But you know how revisionist history will always be. But Jones will be remembered by him not taking the fight against what's we
Aspinall.
call it, against Aspinall, and him not fighting Pereira. And UFC annals,
Right.
that's still going they going as much as they gonna look at it, and they're gonna push that narrative to where they're gonna say, but he didn't fight this person, but he didn't fight this person, just like they do
And
with Floyd.
and to the people that have been saying that the fight was fixed.
Oh Lord.
Here's the thing, because the first thing I did again, because I saw all the reactions before I actually watched the fight. So on top of seeing how it happened, how everything went down, when when this fight first came up, and the first thing I saw was the press conference, and they went face to face. I knew that Gina was gonna lose for two reasons. One, I saw the difference between their demeanors, and two, when I saw Gina, I was like, "Marry me." It's, um, because when she showed up, she didn't look like she was preparing for a fight.
No, she was preparing for a coordination.
I mean I mean she stepped up, and I'm like, oh my God. Like okay, all right. And that's not to say that no other women have done that. There have been very few other women that have shown up dressed to the nines like that, but you can't do that against Ronda.
No, Ronda is Ronda no matter what you want. No matter what you say about Ronda.
As long as you can keep her, if you can't keep her on the feet, you gonna have problems. You just go ahead and count on the L. That's that's just pure facts. If you can't keep her from grabbing you and you can't keep yourself upright,
Yeah.
you're done. The two losses that she has, and I'm sure somewhere, I'm surprised somewhere in her heart, I'm surprised she don't want that Holly Holm fight back, because that Holly Holm fight was the equivalent of that one fight that I told you about, Kirk Johnson and Oleg Moskaev. Running for the life, ends up getting a knockout, and she rah rah rah, and I'm like, yeah, I haven't forgotten that you were it was strategy. You were definitely doing you weren't doing as much running as Holyfield versus George Foreman. I'll give you that. but you stayed on your toes. You stayed on your toes and you stuck and moved. You kicked and moved as much as you could, and you scrambled for your life anytime Ronda halfway got got some kind of clinch on.
Right.
So I will, like I said, this wasn't no Evander Holyfield Foreman thing. This she was properly sticking and moving as much as she could, and she was holding when she needed to hold. If Ronda got a hold to her, she'd be like, "Oh, hug me."
Right. She did what
like,
she needed to
like
do in
hug
order
me.
to
No,
win that fight.
like no, you can't hold me. You can't hold me to take me down. You can hug me though. We can hug.
I love you, but you gotta let me go.
But man, you saw it in in her eyes, boy. She was scared, and I'm sorry if Holly takes this offensively. Please go back and watch the fight. See the look on your face.
Oh yeah. Kane,
You could say that I'm hating, and anybody a fan of hers could say that I'm hating. Go back and watch the fight and watch how she moved and watch that big deer in the headlight look that she had on her face. She was fully alert. She had a game plan and she was fully alert. She was not stepping outside that game plan. And
no,
if
and
it
that's why I'm like, it did some of that stuff, it made it to where all those fights now, her intimidation factor. I want to see, you know what fight I want to see, but I know it won't happen.
who?
I want to see Shayna Baszler go up against Ronda in an MMA, in an actual MMA fight, not that BS that they did before Ronda left the WWE. In an
Yeah.
actual MMA fight, I want to see that.
Yeah, that actually pissed me off because I felt like they didn't let both of them really go just to see what would happen.
Nah, nah,
Just like that same thing with when Cain Velasquez showed up temporarily
but well,
and
Kane was
and
different
and
because
and
Kane got
and
arrested right afterwards.
and took on Lesnar. Yeah, but that whole thing was like Brock got his get back. No, he didn't. He
They
didn't get his get back. I want to see them in the octagon. I wanted to see them like in the octagon in an actual fight, nothing scripted, straight up. That's what they was gonna do their thing. Because for Kane to do what he did to him, and then all of a sudden they do it in the WWE, and Brock just mops the floor with him. Come on, come on.
that, but but that right there was one of the quintessential signs of what's we call it being. I don't even know. I don't know if you want to even call it to where it kind of rubbed everybody the wrong way with it being scripted in the first place. But
Yeah, I did not want to see out of all the matches. I did not want to see that match because I knew it was gonna be some BS.
yeah, yeah.
I knew it was gonna be some BS. They kept promoting it as it's gonna be an MMA. No, it's not.
Nah, it was never gonna be that.
Y'all got kids there, bro. It's not gonna be a actual MMA fight. You're not gonna let Cain Velasquez and Brock do an actual MMA fight with kids in the building.
No, they're not. They weren't gonna do that. They knew they weren't gonna do that. And that's what made it to where it was like irritating because it was
Yeah, it
like,
was a joke. It was a joke and just a complete waste of time. Um. So yeah. Now, last point, and then we'll move on. Uh, I watched Gina's interview.
mm-hmm,
She I don't think she was expecting Rhonda to be what it was. Just listening to her talk, and then she was talking about how frustrated she was because she didn't get anything off. My question was all that work that she did, and congratulations to her, she lost 100 pounds. That was another issue that I had. It's like, so in other words, you weren't doing what Rhonda was doing.
No.
You had to get a lot of weight down, and you're not going to tell me that you being older that didn't affect you none.
It,
And and you got Rhonda being on the farm, and you got Rhonda from what my my coworker was telling me today, she's still teaching. Do you know?
what was that one?
Is she still teaching?
Who?
Rhonda?
No.
I didn't think so.
Rhonda left all that stuff alone. That's what
I
made it funny.
I thought so, but even with the farm part, she keep it in shape.
No, well, she got two kids now. I think I know she got one. I don't know if she got two.
Yeah, and she trying to have more. So
Well, I mean, that's all they got time to do now.
she yeah, that was what she said she wanted to do. She said she wanted to have lots of kids.
Man, she ain't gonna have lots of kids. That body already beat up, broken up. Everything. Man, she gonna have probably one more, throw it one more, and then call it. But it's not.
Nobody care about that.
Oh
You
Lord,
Soldier Boy trying to make sure everybody know he was the first person to drop 3 albums in one day, not Drake. Who
man, that is
cares?
that is. My God, help me.
Sorry, I was you know how the MSN do, they show you stuff to
Yeah,
look at,
no,
and
I
that popped up,
know.
and I'm like, ugh, whatever. So so yeah, um, but yeah, just listening to her, I think she's gonna have another fight because
Man,
she put in all that work and she didn't really get to do anything.
but she said she retired. She said she retired after it was over. She said she was done. I don't see she's done. That's why I
She
said
right, right.
somebody's gonna pop up that's going to pique her interest, and she's gonna come back and she's gonna do it again. And if she loses, it's gonna be hilarious.
She kept saying over and over that she
I'm
really
done. I don't want to
wished
do it
she
anymore.
she had gotten to like unleash some punches and stuff. So that tells me that if the right name comes up, she she gonna fight
But that's why I said Shayna Baszler.
for Gina.
No, for what's we call it for
Oh no,
Rhonda.
Rhonda. I'm I wonder if her mom is still mad at her.
Why?
You didn't hear that part?
No, what? Her mom. What?
Apparently there was a young lady at the fight and they interviewed her, and apparently she lied to her mom. The Rhonda lied to her mom and said that she was training her friend to fight when she was really the one training, and but the lady said that by the end of it she her mom knew. Her mom knew, like, nah, I know what she told me, but I know what I see. She ain't she ain't training you. You training with her so that she could go back to fight. I can't remember what she said. She said to her at the end of it. I think she said something like some people just don't know how to quit or something like that. She said. I started laughing. I'm like, well. So I don't know. Rhonda, I definitely think is done. I'm sorry that win over Gina does not take away the 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 stand up pummeling she took from Amanda. I'm sorry. It doesn't. Now,
It,
if she had got in there with Amanda and did that, like, okay, y'all got to do it one more time because y'all got to see who ultimately. But I don't. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend her doing that with Amanda.
see, I just part of me is just like I want something fresh. Maybe I'm wrong. I it's just like with people getting mad with some of the cuts for WWE with it. And then
Yeah,
you watch NXT and you watch Evolve and you watch the people that's coming up there knowing that there's no room up at the top for as much as they trying to fit in there because of the older guard that's still in there making the money that's in there with it to where it's hard for people to get pushed up and go into that card and actually do something for it. When it comes to it's the same way with MMA. The women's division in UFC is dwindling. You don't see it put out there as much as you used to. Oh, what I
oh
missed?
wow.
What I missed?
Uh, let's see here. Hold on. Let me get it to pause. There we go. So that it don't move because I actually want to read this. Um, so apparently, make sure that this is a clip from today. Um, if this is current, then allegedly the NFL approves for the sale of the Raiders.
What? I didn't even know they were
Um,
up for sale.
so let's see. Like I said, I don't know if this is.
I'm looking it up now.
It says NFL approves Raiders sale as franchise value soars 669% since 2015. Um, Kirby Lee Imagine Images. I don't know what that is, but um, the NFL Finance Committee officially approved a transaction valuing the Las Vegas Raiders at 11 billion in total consideration.
Okay, I just found it. I just found it.
Yeah,
So they're not being fully sold, but a minority ownership stake of 25% is being sold to existing minority investors by existing minority investors to an investment group led by Silver Lake CEO Egon Durbin.
yep,
So, controlling owner Mark Davis is retaining his majority stake and will continue to operate as the controlling owner of the franchise.
right.
The deal and valuation details the transaction size. The 25% equity stake is being sold to Durbin's group, bringing their total combined ownership of the franchise to approximately 40%. The team valuation that the transaction values the Raiders at a total of $9.9 billion. So let's round that up to 10. That means that their ownership stake is 4 billion. And the deal is scheduled to go up to for a vote at the NFL owner spring meeting.
Okay, so let's. The first thing I wanted to know was what's been their record since 2015 that they stock went up.
It wasn't the that's the thing. It's not the stock. It's the location in the stadium.
Okay.
So you got to think about it. The Death Star,
One,
with the Death Star and the move to Vegas, automatically bumped up their valuation by almost, I want to say, $4 billion.
that is that is horrible.
That's
That
why. That's why you're gonna laugh when you hear you're gonna laugh when you hear the fact of the what was it? The terms of
what
uh
the
when
bro?
because I forgot what Cleveland's been valuated as. Once that
Uh-huh.
stadium opens up there, their valuation is gonna go up by at least 2.5 billion.
Bro, they've had two winning seasons
Yes,
in 11 years. Two.
right. But
And
it
they
that
lost both times in the wild card.
but that's what I'm saying. It's not about it's legitimately it is not about the whatchamacallit. It's not about the wins and losses. It's about how much profit that you can make off that team by selling their merchandising, they're pretty much the teams NIL, their stadium, and their location.
Uh-huh.
That's why you're seeing teams. You gotta remember when this whole wave of stadiums was being built, that was 20 something odd years ago. That's why you're seeing this upgraded model of stadiums now to what? Everybody's going to some type of dome stadium. Why?
Mhm.
Because you maximize your usage of that stadium year round, no matter the weather, and open up your possibilities of hosting a Super Bowl if you have a domed or enclosed stadium. That's why Nashville Nissan Stadium is not that old, and they building a brand spanking new one that's beautiful. That's why Cleveland's doing it. The teams, I saw something this week to where you know that either I think they said Hard Rock Stadium is not eligible is not to the standards now to host a Super Bowl now. So think about that. Hard Rock, which they then renovated multiple times, and there is now below standard to host a Super Bowl. And once they tried it up in New York, it opened the floodgates because now every team in the North, like I said, even but I bet you Buffalo might try it. Buffalo legitimately like might try to host a Super Bowl.
Right.
They probably won't get it, but they're gonna try because that's still because if they're gonna their whole excuse is gonna be you had one at the Meadowlands. I mean you had one at MetLife. Why can't you have one here? Lord forbid it's lake effect snow. We get 40 inches of snow on Super Bowl weekend, but our stadium is beautiful. There's not gonna be no snow on the seats, but you're not gonna see too many. Your face is telling it all.
You know what?
Come on, just say it.
We talking and we can he makes me understand why people can't stand him.
Who?
Whitlock.
Oh God, what did he
Now
do
now
now?
now he's trying to go after um uh Haslam. The
Why?
the article says this is the problem with a lot of black athletes. Jason Whitlock criticizes Udonis Haslam for constantly bragging about his toughness.
Oh my God.
Right. Okay. Damn it. I done opened Pandora's box. Might as well dive in. Uh,
Let's go ahead.
all right. So the NBA always had its players who built their identity around toughness, players who weren't afraid to get physical, talk their trash, let opponents know exactly where they come from. For many of them, the edge came from growing up in rough environments where survival meant being strong, both mentally and physically. Udonis Haslam has long been one of those players, someone whose reputation was built as much on grit and intimidation as it was basketball. But Jason Whitlock decided to school the three-time, wait, what? He decided to what?
How is he schooling anybody?
Right. He decided to school the three-time NBA champion. In his subtle toned yet fiery rant, the 59-year-old analyst reminded Haslam that true leadership doesn't come from constantly reminding people of your toughness or your past, a common expectation from a grown man. Wow. This is the problem with a lot of black athletes. He is a product of the patriarch argo culture. Black culture is patriarchal. It's dominated by women. Many men, they lead like women, or like he hasn't fully figured out where you are from. Your neighborhood shouldn't define your attitude, your behavior, your approach to other people. It shouldn't be your identity. Ooh. Ooh. Ah. Oh wow. Okay. Okay. Oh. Uh. Whew. All right. It uh okay. Based upon that, without going into another article, because I got other stuff to talk about. Um, I see where he's going with it.
Hmm.
I still don't like that he said it because looking at it at face, looking at looking at the article at face, it's like, dude, why are you even going at Udonis Haslem? Like, period. Like what? Like you always say, is it a slow news week? It's just like,
It
um, now when he starts explaining what he means by it, now you kind of got me understanding where you're coming from. He does have a point, because in that situation where you're always talking about how tough you are and where you came from, people on the outside, they're going to look at that and they're going to judge it a certain way. That's the only reason I agree with it,
right.
because they will box you and go, "Oh, you from here, you went through this. Well, according to the book, that means you're this." And that could make or break you most of the time. You do have people on certain levels, like basketball or football, that can swim through there. But more often than not, depending on how you carry it, you get boxed.
True.
We were, to some extent, we were literally talking about that a little bit when it came to Marshawn Lynch and how he
True.
carried his attitude and his toughness,
Yeah.
and how it hurt him. So, okay, I didn't like the look of the article at the beginning, but I can respectfully say, okay, I see where you're coming from. I can respect it. I
I'll
understand
never
it.
say it. Never. Never ever. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
I mean,
You're not about to have me regurgitating.
oh,
Mm-mm.
oh, oh, oh,
No,
oh, we
no,
go.
no, no. Mm-mm.
We're going to touch on another situation. That's why I want to hurry up and get past this. Because we're gonna touch on another situation where media, the media war. There's a media war going on, and you already know who is dealing with,
Oh,
and we are gonna touch on it a little bit. I just want to make sure that we have as much fun as we can. Um, and yet keep our allotted time. All right, so here's a reaction situation, a meme. Let's see here. It says, which player needs to be removed from GOAT debate? I know how much you love these. All right, so the following people are sitting on horses with a goat, um, with a goat, I guess, mat kind of draped across the GOAT.
okay.
You got Steph, you got LeBron, you got Kobe, you got Jordan, you got you got Kareem, you got
Uh-huh.
Wilt. Which player would you remove from the GOAT debate according to this particular meme?
Steph, as much as I hate to say it, it sickens me to say it. If you're looking at it across the board right now, Steph, because you can't, you know what?
Uh-huh.
You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna ruffle some feathers. Steph or Wilt. Because realistically, now, when you think about it, everybody that they put on there was a stair has somebody else that's on that list that was a stair step up from what they did. Wilt, you go to Kareem. Jordan, you go to Kobe. Who else did you say was on there?
It's Kareem, Wilt, Kobe. LeBron, Jordan, and Steph. Oh, daggone it.
See, here's the thing. The only reason why I'm saying Steph is that if you're looking at it in tiers of positions,
Uh-huh.
you only can put Wilt and Kareem in the same position.
Right.
But from Jordan, you can put Kobe, LeBron, and Steph all behind there. And when you look at across those three, the one that has the ooh, ooh,
Yeah, I just ran it into something that's got me re-question.
ooh, ah,
On my end, Steph might be safe.
who would be out then?
To me, it would be a toss-up between it would more than likely be Wilt, but because of the narrative that I'm painting, it could be Wilt or LeBron. Because I just looked at I just looked at Wilt's championship record. He only won twice. He
That's
lost
why.
four.
That's what made me swing back around to Wilt because, and here's the thing, like I'm saying, if you turn around, you say Wilt, right?
Right?
Wilt only got two championships.
Uh-huh.
What's the only other accolade that we could talk about besides his conquest that is always mentioned in the annals, in the annals,
He
no
was
pun
he was
intended,
he was
of
giving
him?
back to the community.
He was creating a community.
Right,
Um, the only thing that you always harken back to is the 100-point game.
right.
Outside of that, that's it.
Yeah.
And realistically, when you really sit there and think about it, the 100-point game, and I'm not even being funny when I say this, the 100-point game kind of got diminished a little bit because of what Bam did this year. Because you have to sit there and really think about it. Like, out of all things, that 100-point game, I would think that averaging almost 50 points a game for a season would be more intuitive and more. These are records that they don't even talk about.
Right.
That
Because they know because they in order in my personal opinion, in order for them to replace there are certain records that people ain't gonna break, so you don't talk about them.
right,
And and
but in this day and age, with the way that the 3-point shot is and everything else, it's not like it's not possible. Because here's the only reason why I know about that single game the only reason why I know Wilt owns the single season scoring record and the average record is because I beat it on 2K. That's the only reason why I would know. And that made me go down that rabbit hole like, damn, how much did he why ain't this talked about more? Because they throw up that 100-point game, but they never talk about how much he averaged during that season. He has a lot of seasonal records.
yeah, they don't. If they talked about it, they would have to keep him. Those would be reasons to keep him in the GOAT conversation.
Right.
Especially now that you've opened the door for LeBron, it's like, wait a minute. If we're including people with losing records, uh-oh.
Right. And that's why I'm like, it's not, it's crazy because that's not how it's supposed to be. I don't, that will to me, this is where that slippery slope where we talk about, well, how can you, why you got to remove somebody from a GOAT and everything else. You also got to think about the eras as well.
Yeah.
Wilt played from the 60s until the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s. Kareem came in the 70s and went into the 80s.
Uh-huh.
Then you got Jordan that was the 80s to the 90s. Then you got three people that played pretty much in an overlapping era.
Yeah.
So you can't. So how are you got three goats in the same era, and you had three goats in a 40-year span before then? How many people is getting disrespected that should be in that conversation from there. Just because they didn't win the titles or anything else. I ain't hear nobody say nothing about Magic.
And everybody's argument on Magic, which I've had to school people on that so that they understand. Um, while it is true that that Jordan did beat Magic, he didn't beat prime Showtime Lakers with Magic.
No. He got the back end up. His only chance to go up against the Lakers was when Showtime was on his way out the door.
Yeah, the only two people left was James Worthy and Magic.
Right. So it's like
Everybody else was young rookies and the game as a whole was changing in LA because they had younger players. They didn't have the same mentality. Everybody had to adjust, and it didn't click.
right. It made it to where it was like, no,
It
no.
it clicked enough to for them to get to the championship, but not enough for them to beat Jordan and Phil.
And that's why I said, like, it doesn't. So when it comes to that argument, I get it. Trust me, I get it. When it comes to that argument, Wilt would be out. I
Yeah,
didn't want to take Steph out, but realistically, when you think about it, when it comes to Steph, the only other player that has championships with one team that's on that list is Jordan and Kobe. That's
yeah,
only two.
yeah,
So to have four championships with one squad that you've been with the whole time, that has to put you there with that. LeBron has four championships with three different teams.
yeah.
So I can't get mad. I get it. I understand it. It's just like, yeah, I hate those debates. You're right. I hate
And
those debates. I hate them with a
yeah.
passion because you always feel like, oh, this person shouldn't have never got left out. This person would have been there in the first place if I would have let them ride. They would have been there. I wouldn't even been worried about it.
Yeah.
But now it's like, okay. Yeah, all right. Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So it's been a lot of talk, massive amounts of talk going on in Milwaukee. And the latest talk, one of the talks has to do with Miles Turner
Oh my God. Yes.
and what he did or did not say or
He said it. It's on recording.
what he sorry, I worded it wrong. What he should or should not have said. This
That part. That
now just so I don't have to go looking too deep into it. Um what all was said?
he came out in an interview on, I want to say, I forgot whose podcast it was. I think it might have been Paige Becker's or somebody else's podcast,
Uh-huh.
where he said pretty much um Doc Rivers did not have control of the team. People, including Giannis, would show up whenever they wanted to for practices and whenever they wanted to for team flights or whatever. They would delay team flights because people was running late. Pretty much, he never fined anybody. He was that quintessential player's coach, and that's the reason why Milwaukee wasn't as successful as they should have been.
Okay.
Now, I want, I am all for players, and we've had this conversation. I
Uh-huh.
am all for players speaking their mind. But there is a time, and we're dealing with this. There's another situation that's going on that's going on for the past 24 hours that has blown up. Same instance.
Uh,
Sometimes it's best not to say
Minnesota?
nothing. Huh?
Minnesota?
No. Minnesota's the third thing. Mr. Brown opened his mouth again, and Mr. Stephen A. Towards Mr. Stephen A. and Mr. Stephen A. went back at him hard.
on his show.
on First Take today.
Yeah, I didn't get to hear all of it because
Okay,
I
so
was
so so let me bring you up to speed real quick on all three of these. So, all right, first thing with Miles Turner, one, you left a situation where you knew it was structured because you felt like you were not appreciated and went to somewhere else and then realized the grass ain't greener on the other side.
well that
It wasn't greener on the other side.
no. That part was right. The part that I don't completely agree with was the fact that they were trying to trade him. Uh, they have been trying to trade him for like the past few years. So him feeling that way, and he was like a mainstay. I get where he would feel like I'm not appreciated. Matter of fact, I think we talked about this when the trade went down.
Yeah. Well, it
And
wasn't a trade. He signed as a free agent.
well, yeah, he ended up signing as a free agent. But even that year, there had something went down where they tried to trade him, and if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, nobody bid.
Yeah. Nobody bit.
Yeah. So, um, which I had said that I liked him, but he wasn't. He needed to work on his consistency to a very high level. I saw the talent, but it wasn't consistent enough. I don't know if that had to do in terms of coaching and trying to include in the game, which eventually all these talks are gonna go to the game that went down last night. Oh my God. But just to stay on task so that we could work through all these.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, he now I I don't know how to feel about all of these guys. Part of me understands why stuff should stay in house, but at the same time, the fans should know why stuff didn't work out. So I'm on the fence about it. It is what it is. Did it happen? For me, it's always did it actually happen? If it actually happened, I don't care if somehow Stephen A or somebody like that got wind of it and told it. I don't care if the player or coach decided to that hey, my reputation on the line. You know what? Everybody can get it. Screw it. As long as the facts are true, it is what it is. Because it's unfair to allow people to get thrown up under a bus and then tell them what they can and can't say. Because as we always say, details are important.
Very.
So it's easy to say, oh, well, this leaked and this person acted like this and this person doing this. Okay, so the front office can do it. And then people criticize when the front office do it. So the front office can't do it. The players can't do
It is crazy
it. It's
because
it's ridiculous. Bottom line, people if people have a right to know these things when we're watching these shows, yeah, it ain't gonna make you look good. Yeah, it's gonna make some fans unhappy. It's like, wait a minute, I paid all this money for this jersey. I paid all this money for parking and for food and going to all these games. I paid for my season tickets for what?
hmm
Y'all haven't been able to get it together, and you had the stuff that you allowed to go out on the surface, but then there was some other stuff going on that you didn't want out.
and it's like, what do you? My biggest thing when it comes down to it, for real, is okay. Now you just said it. Can you go back into your locker room? What can be said in front of you now when you go into that locker room where they gonna be able to trust you in what there's and what and saying anything in kind of like that brotherhood.
And that's true.
So what now you're at a point to where it's like, okay, shoot, I might have bit off more than I can chew by sitting up here and doing this. Damn, I messed up.
He definitely did not help. That I will say this: let stuff getting out that way doesn't help the chemistry in the locker room. I can agree to that point why it's a
Yeah.
good idea to not do it
Right.
because
But
some people gonna get mad because they gonna feel like you hated on them or as it's being put out there, oh he snitched on me.
mm-hmm.
It's like
But then the other part, the crazy part about that though, is like it ties in with the other side of it, with what happened with Minnesota, with what Ant-Man did. I
which part
personally, huh?
the DAP thing.
The that part of it. I don't find nothing wrong with it.
People,
And I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna tell you why. Did they have any chance in hell of coming back?
no,
Were they gonna put him out there and have him fight until the end of the game? Or were they already waving the white flag at that moment?
they were.
So what is it to where we get on Isaiah Thomas and everybody on that Piston squad when Chicago beat them and they all walked off the court and showed no sportsmanship whatsoever when
Except
Chicago beat
I
them.
think I think Joe was the only one.
John Sally was the only person that was out there and Joe Dumars was the only two that was out there shaking people's hands.
Yeah,
Everybody else left the field. Everybody else left the court.
yeah,
He had so much respect for them to where he knew he might not be able to get to everybody during that time frame. So he went and congratulated them right then and there. We always talk about sportsmanship in the game, but then we want to pick and choose when sportsmanship is issued.
yeah, and that's just like with the discussion when it's okay to discuss the problems in the locker room, and then who's allowed to discuss the problems in the locker room, and
Right.
and you decide who, when, what, how, and why. Um, Now the DAP thing.
I know people are going to find issues with it. I get that. I
I
understand it.
Yeah, I could definitely see why there was an issue, but if he was going out for the game, they had pretty much given everything up. I'm definitely with you. I agree. It's not that big a deal. Now, if he's out there during the game and he's supposed to be out there fighting
Right.
and
And
they
he's doing
weren't
that.
trying to sit him down, I
Yeah.
see more problem with that, which that, if I'm not mistaken, that has been done.
Right. And that's where I'm like, I didn't have no issue with it. Now, with him calling out his teammates after the fact, that's something that should have been done behind closed doors. You you still are a team
I
and you still gotta go back in there. But as the leader, now here's the thing: as a leader during that time frame, you can sit there in front of the cameras and sit there and say, "We didn't perform up to our abilities."
right.
And we tried. There are some things that we could have did better. We ended up being on the wrong end of the stick. We'll come back next year. We'll come back harder.
And you want to know the downside to that?
People gonna want more,
They've been saying that the past couple of years.
right?
And
So
they've been saying that the past couple of years, and it gets to the point to where that thing that you say about coaches, when it comes to players saying that to the media, yeah, like and saying that to fans in front of the media, like wait a minute, y'all, you've been singing that song. Now we need
oh yeah, I get
we
that.
need something else.
Right, I get that. But here's
And
the reason
and
why. Here's the reason why the messenger should not be even remotely seen in the same light as others in doing that. That messenger was on a bad leg and still was giving his all.
right.
If it would have been Rudy Gobert or Julius Randle saying that, then oh nah, you don't have no way of reason to saying that at all because you disappeared.
And the sad part is, and me and you talked about this, and I got nothing against Julius, but this is something that he unfortunately does.
Yeah,
It's plagued his entire career.
and it's crazy how it still is cropping up to this day and is messing him up.
And
completely.
now that trade is not looking as bad for New York as it did as it is for Minnesota.
No.
Because initially it was a straight trade, kind of like the injured for the injured with the AD and Doncic. It's like, okay,
Right.
you traded injured for injured. He got soft tissue injuries that he didn't that he thought was beneath him to be addressed, and now that's part of what's hurting the Lakers. Oh my God, I just remembered something that two things that I want to talk about. So let's move through the snitch stuff because I want to make sure I get this in. So, all right. Now, Jalen had a point, but the problem I had with it, if he had listened to, he had a point, and we all know this. We all know about Stephen A. He tends to bring up some of the dumbest stuff that ain't got nothing to do with nothing.
No. Yeah.
Now,
I give you that one.
is not in the LeBron situation with Bronny. I don't see that as much.
Hmm.
But like like he literally went and found it and he played it. I agree with Jalen. What does whether or not Tatum wants to go on Jalen's Twitch? What does that have
Hmm.
to do with a hill of beans in China, set on fire with a rainbow in the sky? What does that have to do with anything?
I think, okay, so
The and he ended up questioning the motive of what he said, but the first thing that he said barred it all because Jalen played it, and the thing that he wanted Stephen A to do, Stephen A did. Problem was he didn't lead with it. He came with the ridiculousness that will people hear it and they go, dude, what is you talking about? And they instantly get pissed off without letting Stephen continue to talk. He ended up questioning what was the motive behind what he said because it didn't sound right. Problem is, you should have went there, you should have stayed there, you should have led with that, and it should have had nothing to do with the personal twitch, no nothing. And then if Jalen gets mad, he don't have a leg to stand on. The other part that I disagreed with Jalen on was he said it's my job to talk to the media. If I don't talk to the media, I get fined. Bro, you was on your personal Twitch. You weren't talking to you were saying something to Stephen A, but Stephen A wasn't on your Twitch with you. So you weren't talking to the media.
yep. I just when I heard about what happened with Jalen, and I got angry because I was like, what's the point? What was the point right now? Like realistically, what were you trying to prove in doing that? Were you trying to you went back at and Stephen A when he came back at him today, Stephen A said, you didn't say nothing to Jay, you ain't say nothing to Perk, and they was harder on you than I was. I was just saying to turn around after you as the head because it wasn't Tatum. You led that team this season. For you to turn around the day after becoming the first Boston team to give up a 3-1 series lead to lose in the playoffs, to turn around and say that that was your favorite team ever,
Yeah. And he
that's
uh,
not good. That wasn't a good look.
and that's exactly what I said.
Right.
That's what I
So,
said when it first happened. That's what I said. I said, dude, that's not a good look.
right.
I need details. I need to know what he meant.
And that's the thing. But then
Stephen
so
A
you
didn't do
turn
that.
around.
Stephen A should have done that. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, bro, you do gotta kind of explain that because why you ended up explaining it later when you were saying what how Stephen A should have approached it, technically around the time you cut off when he was talking, he did eventually go there.
Right. And that's why when he did it, I sat there and I was like, dude, why in the world are you even remotely having this argument? When it happened the first time, I would have left it alone. With what he did this past weekend and bringing it back up to where it set off Stephen A today, and even with what Stephen A said, Stephen
And
A he was very direct. He's like, I'm not going to disrespect you. He said, I'm not going to change anything that I said. But the fact of the matter remains,
you
your
should change
timing
the
was
Twitch
wrong.
thing. You should change the Twitch thing.
He
Now,
was no, he did tell him, he was like, he said your people should tell you enough to where you need to get a production, you got enough money, get a better production instead of trying to bring up clips and stuff and the computer ain't running and everything else like that. You're better than that. He did come at him and tell him that.
well,
And that was him being petty.
right, and that's more of that stuff that make people. I mean, hell, even what's his face went at him. Did you watch that Kevin
I still have not watched that Kevin Hart roast.
bro? He said something when he goes at the end. There's a Mount Rushmore. That's all I'm gonna say. And I busted out laughing because I could not believe. Yeah, that whole roast, I got to figure out a way. And if you want to be down to do it, we can figure out how to do it. I I literally like after you watch it, if we could come up and just do a special reaction video to that whole thing.
I heard it was nuts.
People that are mad, you know what? I got nothing. I, it, nobody, even if you're a comedian, come on. There was some stuff where it was like, really, bro? It's no, not that. It's and even Cheryl
And
Underwood. I thought Cheryl Underwood was gonna be worse than she was, but we getting off topic.
yeah,
Let's
my
spin
main
around.
thing,
We'll talk about that.
my only thing when it came to that was that a lot of people will sit there and say there was lines that was crossed that should have been crossed in there. And my response, because I grew up in a household that listened to Red Fox, Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, uh, Bobcat Goldthwait,
Yeah.
uh, Billy Crystal, Robin Williams. Robin Williams is my favorite actor. That's my kindred spirit. I,
Oh, for sure.
right. If they thought it was bad now, they should go back and listen to some of the roasts from back then.
Here's the thing.
We've gotten too sensitive.
No, 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 no. And I'm going to give you a comparison what I compared that roast to. You remember, I'm pretty sure I told you about one of the few times that a big name comedian came to the Funny Bone and I said I'll probably never see him again. Tommy
Yeah.
Davidson. Tommy Davidson. His whole entire set was nothing but black people do this, white people do that, black people, white people. And it got so bad that even after like 45 minutes, even most of the black folks sitting near me was like, okay, we get it. Black folks, white folks. What else you got?
But
And
knowing him in that situation, that's all he had. And that makes
which
me
made
worry.
no sense, which for me made like no sense because it's not that when I go to the Funny Bone, people don't do that. George Lopez did it. A lot of the comedians that I go see do it, but they spread it out. George Lopez, he talked about the black, white, Hispanic. He tried to find out if there's any gays in the audience. Anybody a part of that community. They spread the wealth,
Right.
but he didn't spread the wealth, and I'm like, he didn't spread the wealth and bounce outside of it. Ari Spears, same thing. He hits all of it. Hits politics. He hits all of it. If he don't see somebody smiling, he will literally come at you like he's literally mad at you. But he's had to go online because people would see the reels and they would react with anger and with these false narratives because they don't realize, like, if you've been to his show, you understand it's a shtick that he does.
Yeah.
On
It-
there was only one there was only two times that I saw him come out of pocket on people and he was dead serious. And that was, well, three if you count me. Um
oh, he came at you?
yeah, well, what happened was I saw his rant about LeBron and the GOAT
Uh-huh.
debate online. I mean, and he was spitting and he was just he was super angry. So the next time I saw him, I looked at him, I was like, "You all right?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "You sure?" And then he gave me this look. He's like, "Yeah, why?" I was like, "I saw your I saw your goat rant online." And then he just looked at me. He's like, "You funny." And like it wasn't nothing. We've always been cool. Other than that moment, it got a little tense. Then when he realized what I was talking about, he just blew it off. But there was this other dude that decided to. Apparently, he was from Chicago. Was a fan of Corey Holcomb. Decided to try to
Oh
heckle
God.
him about that Corey Holcomb incident, and he basically ended up being a part of the show, the rest of the show. And they ended up after the show, he ended up coming up, buying a shirt, taking a picture with him. They laughed. They laughed even in that situation. But he was initially mad. That dude just would he just kept yelling it out like why don't you talk about that Corey Holcomb incident? And I'm looking over at him like, bro, I don't know what you're talking about, but you might want to stop. And he didn't. And Aries got mad. He was like, "Look, I was trying to ignore you, but since you seem to be so adamant," and then he kind of went into it a little bit. He's like, "For those that don't know what he's talking about," and I'm like, "That would be me."
Hmm.
And they had gotten into it. There was a
They've been
scuffle.
getting into it. That's still going on because that
Yeah,
I heard
yeah.
some stuff
Corey
over the
Holcomb
past couple.
still can't stand him. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know. Um, and and didn't like the fact that he sued him and stuff like that. And blah blah blah, whatever.
But
But
it's like, but this is where again, you got a whole bunch of people, and I hate it because it's tearing apart the fabric of what this whole thing was supposed to be. Comedy was not we comedy should not be looked at as a fact of I'm dealing with this person, I don't want to deal with this person because they do this and everything else. It's so sensitive now to where you can't say nothing about nobody for real. If you say something about them and it's not in the setting of one of these roasts or something of the sort with it, you gotta worry about a lawsuit.
yeah,
It's,
it was my thing was like I said, I it was it was too much of it. I mean, even on the regular roasts, there was other stuff to talk about even when they hit race topics. It was like you sprinkled it in, not like the whole entire thing. It's like, my God, was there the
no,
writers and I understand why people was mad at the writers. Like, was there nothing else that you could have taken shots at people about? Why did this one have to be so race laden? That would be
but
my question.
because and I'm not being funny when I say this. Look at who the whole roast was for. The roast was for somebody that in that thing that he toes that line across the board. He's always told that line. He's friends with both sides. And they wanted to, with it being Netflix and everything else, they wanted to get the most outrageous replay value that they could
Yeah, and
possibly get.
they wanted it to be more scathing, which to me it wasn't. It might have been more scathing, but it wasn't better than Tom's. Although I will say, Tom coming out there, that me seeing that side of Tom was like, Oh, okay. And it wasn't awkward like some people like to talk about when he does his analyst job. It wasn't it was like it was actually funny. I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, he because Tom was having fun. That's why I'm
Right.
like,
I'm like, "Oh,
y'all,
okay, Tom. All right, I'm down."
and and that's why it's like when you do it, it's when it's done that way, it could be it could be a lot better than what everybody kind of took it to be. It
Uh,
just
other than
that's why a part of me wanted to watch it, and then the other part of me was like, do I really
other
want to?
even Usher, other than Usher like surprise being surprisingly off key, he was funny.
He was doing that. He did that on purpose.
I was yeah, I was kind of figuring that, but I just you never know. I mean, you get older,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, maybe the cardio like people used to get that way about Marilyn Manson. I'm like the man shows up with beyond beer gut. Of course, he's not gonna sound like he did when he was 100% skinny and he was younger. The man's cardio is crap. Of course, it ain't gonna sound exactly the same. Of course, he ain't gonna be able to do the screaming parts. That takes hella cardio.
He gotta get down into yeah, he gotta get all the way into the gut.
Right. And that whole that breathing exercise, I may not have actually gone into it, but once upon a time, when I had music class, they would teach you about the whole breathing and your stomach and how to breathe and it's like your cardio got to be off the chain for you to be able to sing on tune and hit all the right notes. Your cardio is
Your
definitely a
cardio
big
gotta be on point. That's
yeah.
what, but that's a whole part of when you sit there, that whole roast, when it came down to it, that roast was hilarious because it showed people in a different light than what they were normal to.
I will say this. Uh, two people were tamer than I was expecting them to be, considering everything I had heard that night. Cheryl Underwood and Big J Okerson. I've seen them. I've seen them and met them both. They were tame compared to when Cheryl and Big J like if you look up Big J Okerson, look how he did that night and then go if I'm not mistaken, he do got some of his sets like on YouTube. Trust me,
Okay.
he was tame that night.
But I
He was
think
tame that night. Cheryl was tame that night. And she did kind of go at some people, but she was still tame.
But I think Cheryl was tame because you got to think about what did they do? They hit her. They hit her with some shit to where I would have, part of me would have been like, you know what, I'm out.
Right. And you saw the look on her face, and the look on her face, that was genuine.
Right. And
And
that
I'm like, like, oh, I can't wait till she come up because I thought, knowing how she do when she come to the funny bone, I was like, oh, this gonna be good. And she did do good, but I was like, yeah, that was tame. She did good, but that was tame.
yeah,
I was expecting her to be a lot more. You heard it in her voice.
because she was hurt. I think that, and that's the thing, that's the one part about it to where they say, uh, you have to be cognitive of it when you're doing it.
She always tries to I think on that level, she even even when she is like the way she is when she comes, she always tries to make sure that everybody knows that at the end of the day, it's just jokes, and she is respectable, and she puts that into her. Now that part, she was 100%. She always tries to show a part of it where it's like I am intelligent. Don't think because I'm up here and I'm saying what I'm saying that I'm not intelligent, and she'll break you down. Now that part of Cheryl, she did on the roast.
Right. Right.
but
And that's
but and she did take a moment to like take the high road, even though she did go back at people.
oh yeah, and that's why I said I was happy that she did take the time to go at people with that because there is certain things, like I said, there's certain parts of it to where you just don't do. And that was one of them to where it was like, I don't know if that was cool. And I don't know if I could sit there and actually be okay with some of the stuff that was said during that time frame.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Pete Davidson, he's used to being on a roast and people talking about his dad. So he was.
right.
Now, the thing that he said about Charlie Kirk and the other thing that got said by Tony with um oh God uh uh I can't remember his name. I don't know why his name is escaping me right now, but the 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 guy that got killed because the cop wouldn't get off his neck.
Oh, George Floyd.
Yeah, George Floyd. Those two were probably, and people brought that up that it was like, wait a minute, you took out a joke about Melania, but you couldn't have taken out the joke about George Floyd. You couldn't have, and other people were like, you couldn't have taken out the joke about Charlie Kirk, but you took out the one about Melania.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that was another thing that rubbed people the wrong way. Like, wait, y'all specifically took certain jokes out. So if y'all took certain jokes out, y'all could have really that was further proof that things could have been different. And so
It's
so so
like
anybody that's got a problem with it, it's like, you know what? It's that's why if you're gonna do something, do it 100% or make sure that on all levels, if you're doing some cutting, make sure you really doing some cutting.
no.
But anyway, so we've gone through. Have we gone through all of them?
Pretty much.
Okay. Last night, you know me. I have the fortune of pulling stuff up on my phone and watching from the beginning. If I don't catch it at the beginning, that game was a massacre.
Oh,
Um,
both of them.
for
Both
Well,
game sevens was massacres. I mean,
I still got to go back. I believe, I
well, go
believe
game
I could
six.
go back on Prime and watch stuff that I add to my watch list, and I'm almost sure that I added. I might not have added the Spurs game 7 to my watch list, but I know I added the game 6
Okay.
um to on Peacock because Peacock will leave it on there for replay. So um but to specifically talk about, nobody should really be surprised that Cleveland ended up beating them, and here's why. Harden aside, if it wasn't for the injuries last year, Cleveland was supposed to have been
Cleveland was the number one seed.
Cleveland was supposed to had done something last year, but the injuries plagued them during the year and especially plagued them during the playoffs. So at this point, New York is about to finally get challenged because the way they played, if they play the Knicks like they played Detroit last night, now it'll be a little harder because you got obviously you got Donovan Mitchell. You got you got Harden playing more consistent. That's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Mobley, they finding him and Allen is finding their footing. Dennis Schroeder is coming off the bench, finding his footing.
Yep.
Finally, because he's been passed around like a blunt. And you saw his talent, but it wasn't consistent enough. Something about him on this team, he's found his consistent footing. So I'm looking forward to this series. And
I'm looking forward to both.
as bad as it as bad as it seems, everybody seems to have the Knicks beating Cleveland. I wouldn't be beating that drum for the Knicks just yet because this is the first challenge that they're going to have. And again, like I said, last year they were supposed to had been here, and they were thinking that Cleveland was going to mess around and possibly get to the championship last year, but the injury bug killed them all year, and finally put the nail in the coffin when the playoffs hit.
And
And
I think
now all of those people are not injured. They're playing great. They're playing in unison, and they got Harden and his ability to get calls. Because I'm sorry that one call. The reason why I wanted to talk about that one call, and obviously this is an excellent pivot. The reason why I wanted to talk about that one call was in college they call that a offensive foul now.
right.
And I didn't like the clickbait heading that the idiot on Twitter put on it. That's what pissed me off. Because if you look at the play, number one, if it was college, Hard would have got called for an offensive foul. If you're a big name, they're probably not going to call you for it
True. It
in the NBA. Now, the thing I did not like was the heading to it, talk about some the Pistons playing the 90s prison defense. If you think that Cunningham moving Harden's hand out the way is Detroit prison defense, number one, you didn't actually watch that era.
you couldn't have. And that's why I said it's funny because that whole dynamic for what it was in there, like you said, there's no way, shape, or form. I like how Cleveland looked. I give Cleveland a puncher's chance. I hope that it goes seven.
If they move without the ball like they did against Detroit, and they had excellent spacing, their passes were right on point. They were everything was going to the basket. Yes,
Mhm.
they were hitting their threes, but why were they hitting their threes? Because most of the time everything was going to the basket. You could not cover. They were going inside, they were going outside. Detroit didn't know
Yeah.
what to do.
And Detroit's youthfulness came out to bite them this season.
Well,
They don't.
yeah, because Durham to me disappeared.
Yeah,
I'm trying to figure out what's all the big hype around Asir Thompson. I'm trying.
he's an athletic. He's an athletic guard.
I mean, and then Tobias Harris, for as talented as he is, the last person he needs to be guarding is Mitchell.
Right.
He should not have been guarding Mitchell. You didn't have nobody else y'all could put on him on Mitchell. That was another thing that killed him. Because if Tobias Harris is putting all his eggs and trying to defend Mitchell, he ain't gonna hardly have no eggs down on the offensive end.
No, not at all. And that's where that whole argument came into play when we talked about this, to where Mitchell, I'm happy for Mitchell because he's finally got a team around him that can push, that can let him not have to try to take complete control of the game.
Not for 4 quarters. Yeah.
Not for 4 quarters. He can pace himself. That's been one of the hardest things that he had to deal with, was he always had to do everything in order to make it work.
And
And
it
he
was
don't have to
always
do
a
that anymore.
question on my end. It was always a question of could he be a team player because I hadn't seen it.
But I seen it when he was at Utah. It was just that he didn't have nobody to be a team player with.
Gordon always stayed hurt. That's true.
Yeah, he had nobody to do it.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, man, I mean, yeah, true.
But, but,
I,
but,
I,
between coaching, and that's why coaching is important because
And I told you Kenny Atkinson was the perfect coach for that team. I said that.
yeah,
Kenny Atkinson is a to me, Kenny Atkinson is a great coach. He gets overlooked. He got overlooked a lot. Everybody tried to push poo-poo and push everything that happened in Brooklyn against him. That was not him. That was the inmates running the freaking asylum. And he's showing that. That man is a hell of a coach. That's why I was salty here. And I'll put this out there. I hated the fact that he left and took the Cleveland job because if Kerr would have left, I would have wanted Kenny to take over the Warriors. But things happen. I can't get mad at it. It's just like, okay.
right.
But in that same instance, it's like that whole situation there. I man, that man, it will always and forever be a top of the line coach to me. There is nothing that anybody can sit there and say or do in the league to make me think otherwise when it comes to him because of the work that he's put in for on any team that he's been on.
Right.
So with that, so I like that whole the final four is what it should have been. I did not have no faith in Boston. I
Yeah,
did not have no faith. I didn't really have any faith in Detroit. I thought Detroit overachieved this season. Detroit was in the position. Detroit basically played the position that Cleveland did last year. They overachieved, got the number one seed, and didn't know what to do with it. Because you gotta think about it. What number one seed do you know of has been pushed to 7 game series before they was eliminated?
yeah,
So as it went down the line, you knew, and Cleveland ain't no better because Cleveland had 2 7 game series where they had 6 and a 7. So no, wait, who did Cleveland beat? Who did Cleveland beat to get there? Who's the oh god? Let me look that up. NBA playoffs. Because I could have swore Cleveland did a NBA playoffs. NBA. Go. Playoff bracket. There we go. Show me. Show me. No, not video. I don't want to see video. I want to see the bracket. Here we go. Yeah, the Raptors pushed them to 7. So and this is the only thing that's going to come back and kill them. And this is the scary part. The Knicks been off. The Knicks are rested. You coming off your second 7 game series. This is the if they come out tight that first game, they gotta split in New York. If they don't split in New York, it's a wrap. And I think New York has home field. Yep, New York has home field. So they
yeah,
gotta split in New York.
yeah, and I believe that if they could pull it off to play together the way they played in that series against Detroit, and as good as New York has been looking, I feel like part of that is because challenge level wasn't that high. Ooh,
Ooh, that's a juicy statement.
I mean, okay, so they played, like you said, they played the Raptors, right?
Right. And the Raptors took them to 7.
Is that more is that more of the Raptors were that good or the
I
Knicks?
think it was more the Raptors was that good. And the Raptors was underestimated.
I would believe that latter part. And then we got they just beat the 76ers, right?
Yeah. And the 76ers, you got to think about it. The 76ers was coming off a 7 game series where they was half and half. That's again why I was
They, they,
mad
they
about
were half and half, and you got you don't know whenever you don't know how long you're gonna have Embiid. So and then because of his potential for injury, not only from the fact that Maxey ran into his leg, but the way he defends. He ain't
true.
he not coming all the way out.
Uh,
He'll come up to the free throw line and then he'll kind of float. you can't do that against New York. Everything was and then Paul George having to play on both
Oh
sides of the
God, Paul
floor.
George is overrated. Paul George has been overrated for a while, and that's what's making it to where people are upset about. Because when you really think about it, was it worth what they did in order to bring Paul George into there?
No, and it was not, but that's the thing, and that's been the problem since his days at Indiana.
Paul George's whole career will be known a as a microcosm. You got too many players. You got two players as known factors, and Edgecombe and Maxey. And then you got two players are the biggest that are two of the biggest what ifs that could possibly be in the league. And Paul George and Joel Embiid. And you
Yeah,
tried to make a team run to the playoffs with that.
I busted out laughing when everybody got excited because Paul George went to the 76ers. I'm like, they already got one injury prone person they need to get rid of. Why is everybody getting excited? Because now they have two.
Because why can't we get excited? Woo!
Why? Just no. Just like when they all ended up over there on the 76ers and I mean on the Clippers. And it's like oh, here we go. Here we go. What? When him and Carmelo went over to OKC and everybody's like, oh, Westbrook really gonna show out now. I'm like, if you believe that, that means you really haven't been paying attention to the history of Westbrook. Was I wrong?
No.
No. Like I'm just saying, and it's not about disrespect. It's look at the history. Look at the history of Westbrook when there was more than one star on the team. Now I can't explain what happened like after the fact,
Right.
like where he is right now. I can't explain it. Um, Part of me wonders if him taking a backup role and him being willing to take a backup role while he was willing to do it emotionally, where did that put him? Not only that, but the whole thing with the fans disrespecting him to the point to where he got to call people out because they kids is going to his kids' school and basically taking what's said on the court, taking it off the court, and making it super personal. Where he got mad and he came out about that, I just kind of looked. I think me and you talked about it. I said, you know what? I respect it. And he way nicer than I would have gotten in trouble. I know me. I would have gotten in trouble because I would have wanted some adult's head on a platter. So yeah, I would have gotten in trouble.
See, yeah. Yeah.
No. My kids come home. I'm sorry, what? And and to me that there's supposed to be a line, but people pick and choose when there's a line. It's
Right.
it's it's they talk about other people controlling the narrative. Like, that are you mad about the narrative itself, or are you mad at the fact that you personally don't have control of the narrative? I will ask that to people. I will ask that to the media, to certain media people, and I will ask that to athletes because we've talked about it. If an athlete don't like what's said, you could be a veteran in the game, retired. You could be You could be somebody that, okay, they team didn't make it to the playoffs. They on the show, they analyzing. If they didn't like what you said, it don't care if you're a current player. It don't care. Don't matter if you're a former player. Don't matter if you're a championship level coach, a championship level player. If they don't like what you said, they don't like what you said. It's like, well, we don't know. Then they got to put extra narratives on it. Oh, well, we don't know each other like that. So what?
What? Yeah,
Is
yeah, I
is
feel you
is
on that
what
one.
he said wrong?
No, and that's what that is
And
the
and and
headache.
and and time is winding down, so I'm gonna jump into it. Who and this was on first take last week, but I want to get your take. As soon as I heard it, I got excited. I was like, okay, we talking about this next Monday. Who is more important to the Lakers right now? Doncic or LeBron?
Doncic, and it's a no-brainer because here's the reason why.
Okay.
Doncic, you're playing right now because he's 20, he'll be what, 26 years old?
Uh-huh.
And you've seen how people with bad ankles and bad knees has have once they've gotten with the right nutrition and the right substance, and he looked like he was taking strides towards that until it got to the end of the season. LeBron can turn around and midway through the season and retire and just walk away. You cannot in this day and age in any situation bank your whole existence and your whole team's existence around a 41-year-old player. You can't. It's not a knock against what LeBron can do. It's not a knock against what LeBron has done. But it's a simple fact of 20, what, this will be season 24 next year.
Uh-huh. Yes, sir.
24 years of wear and tear on that body. Even though you treat your body as a temple, all it takes, and we've seen it, is one wrong tweak. We said the same thing about treating your body like a temple to Kobe. When you hear them talk about Kobe's workout regimen, his practice regimen, and everything else with it, what happened? He still blew out his Achilles.
Uh-huh.
And let's be real. At this point in LeBron's career, if he blows out his Achilles, you think he gonna come back for the following season?
Uh, I would
Do
hope
you
not, but
realistically think
I
that LeBron would
it
try to come back?
honestly, yes.
So, okay. So if you say honestly, yes, would you, as a team owner, put your
No,
team around a a,
no.
a, a
He would
dead
have been gone
43
already.
year old?
I would have been trying to get rid of him already if it were me. But
I know, I know that, but I'm saying
but
in the light of this conversation,
right.
if you would you try to build your 19, 18, 17-time NBA championship franchise around a 43-year-old player coming off of a blown Achilles again?
No, absolutely not. Now, but I will say this. This whole thing, I do not think I have a really bad feeling because it's happening too much.
I don't. And I think that that's
It's happening too much. I have a really bad feeling that unfortunately, Doncic is getting ready to head the way of Kawhi and Paul George and and Embiid. Worst case scenario, he's headed toward one of the three.
I don't you know what? Even with that being said, I still would be worried about Doncic.
So yeah, so
And the only reason
that
why I'm
part is
saying
the only thing that makes LeBron at least next year look appealing.
it
Be-
doesn't to me. It doesn't to me because here's the reason why. Eh, And maybe I'm wrong for looking at looking at it this way, but I'm a realist when it looks at it this way. If he wouldn't have been worried about self last season, we wouldn't even be in this situation right now.
Well, and that is the reason why when you asked me that question, I said I would have been off of it. I would have been
Right.
off it a long
But
time ago
he
because
had, but
it
that's the
it
fucked up part
it
about
got
the
it got me
contracts.
one championship. All that stuff going down, all the stuff going down, and now all of a sudden there's narratives being put out here. You're talking about I'm unappreciative, which we're gonna segue into that. Hold on. Let me get this straight. You wanted Anthony Davis, even though Anthony
Uh-huh.
Davis had a history of injury issues.
Uh-huh.
You wanted him. They got it.
Uh-huh.
All this talk about people pissing and moaning that the Lakers ain't doing what they can to bring in the right players, and the Lakers under that scrutiny drafted Bronny for you,
Uh-huh.
but you feel unappreciated
Yep. So and I'll
every
continue,
year.
continue, because you're proving my point for me.
Every year they have well this is a different conversation in my
No, it's
personal
the same. It's the same. It falls in the same thing. It
it,
legitimately do because I'll tie it into it once you get finished.
yeah. um so and then ESPN and then of course ESPN to a certain extent, I'm sorry, this there's a level of petty
Hmm.
to sit up there and go through a whole segment where where, where you pull out the fact that wait a minute, was it ESPN or was it Colin? No, I didn't watch Colin until today.
It
So it
was
was definitely
ESPN.
ESPN. They bring up the fact that whether instead of drafting Don't Connect or especially instead of drafting Bronny, you could have had Jay Mitchell.
Yeah. I, this is
But
so
you're unappreciated.
so. Let me and we've had this discussion, but let me say it this way when it comes down to this.
Uh,
There's no way, shape, or form that LeBron James can sit there and say he was unappreciated by the Los Angeles Lakers the way that they bent over backwards over the past 8 years of you being there in order to give you what you want, and you've pretty much given us nothing except for a title that everybody tries to throw an asterisk on. So let's call a spade when it comes down to this. The reason why I'm saying that it would be very, very quick for me to sit up there and say between Luca and LeBron, it would be Luca all day, every day, twice on Sundays, and I'll say a hallelujah in between it. Is because one, your contract structure gave you the power on that last season of your contract to where it was a player option. If it had been a team option, he would have been gone. But it was a player option. And you have built your whole career off of doing whatever it takes to win. You have opted out of contracts and took it less in order to get more from this. You know you're on the back end of your career. So now this is the time when you starting to feel that I'm not appreciated, even though they've given you everything, including drafting and playing your shitty ass son. You opt in and you basically eat. You basically Outback Steakhouse their entire back end of their salary cap. So now,
Got them bringing in DeAndre Ayton. Really?
right, and you convince them to bring in DeAndre on top of that. So okay, so now what? You have had your fingerprints on this team for the past 8 years. As soon as Luca comes in there to play, let's be now. Here's option one. We got Luca under contract. So now it's who do we keep? Do we keep AR-15, who's played and proven himself in a little bit of ways in order to do it, and we can keep him at a mid level, or do we go back and we ask you to take a pay cut now in order to stay with the team?
Uh,
Because they're saying right off the bat, they're not going to max him out.
well, no, and
So,
they shouldn't
right. So
because
what
they need a big. And once again they bringing up scenarios and they're wanting to get rid of people. I don't think that unless unless the name is LeBron and Bronny, I don't think they should be trying to get rid of anybody because I'm sorry, as soon as LeBron officially got the confidence and he eased up, all of a sudden Hashimura got more consistent because he was getting the ball. He was getting the ball. He had to be alert. He had to always be ready. So he played better. So to me, that's a piece. AR, that's a piece. Doncic, that's a piece. Now you tell me if you agree with this. If they
uh-huh.
could find them a bona fide point guard that can score somewhere between 10 to 20 points,
Mm-hmm.
you figure out a way to dominate. You figure out a way. Well, I mean, if you let him become a free agent, he's pretty much gone, right?
Right. He is a free agent.
Let let LeBron do whatever it is he's going to do. Figure out a way to make it clear, like, yeah, wherever you go, you taking Bronny with you.
No, I would. You know what? Screw that. Nope. Nope. Here's as soon as he's gone, you're cut.
Now that would be disrespectful.
No, and at this point, what would we be keeping you for?
Yeah,
It's
that
either you get because here's the thing: let's call a spade a spade. Will Bronny get picked up by another team if it's not with his daddy?
probably not. Well, unfortunately,
Would
and
he
we didn't.
get will he get PT, or will he be a career G League player?
You know what? As much as I hate to say this, somebody will play him.
Right, and you want to know why? Because of his name.
Yes.
And then,
So
but you
so
got players
so
like Matt McClung that comes up to the league and whoops the NBA players' asses in slam dunk contests to where he retires from it because it's not even worth his time. But he's been a
well,
multi-time MVP down in the G League and can barely get a chance to come up to the league
they asked him not to be in it because there were people opting out of it if he was going to be in it.
because he been whooping their ass.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. I don't want to do it if
he
he gonna be in it.
he was forced into retirement. I will still never
And
get
then
over that.
still went live dunking and did 4 dunks on his stream that was better than the dunks in the slam dunk contest.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So the nepotism has to stop.
But that puts butts in the seats. It's about
It's
the
not at
internet.
you in LA. It was gonna be butts in the seats no matter what.
And they do have Doncic now.
Right. So that's not nah. That's not nah. Nope.
But let's be honest. That is a reason why they held on to LeBron so long.
They held on to LeBron because here's the thing, and this is where hindsight 2020 comes into play. If they knew they was gonna get Luka, do you think they would even resign LeBron to that contract? Nope. Luka fell into their lap.
Yeah.
So you have to pivot once something falls into your lap. And when they fell into their lap, they was like, okay, what are we gonna do? And LeBron was like, and let's be real, the diva that is their god sat there and said, wait a minute, they've gotten this guy in here now. I can't. Can I get such and such such? No, we gotta ask Luca. You've never had to say that to me before. Nobody's ever said that to me before, Rob. Rob, I thought you loved me. I love you, but I just traded for the current, like almost one of the top three current players in our league, top five. You used to be. You can't carry a team on your back anymore. You have to. LeBron James's best idea for right now, in all honesty, you can either take the pay cut and let the Lakers build around Luca and get you a ring as a support player, or take your services elsewhere and hope that you get a championship ring. But also
I
hope you don't turn into in the latter, because there are rumblings that saying that you try to play until you 50. Hopefully you do not turn into in your latter stages this decade's Kevin Durant, bouncing from team to team trying to chase a ring. Because the more and more you bounce from team to team trying to chase a ring, it cheapens the fact of what you did to get the four
I
that you got.
I think that what we've talked about it. I think he's trying to do the Brady thing and trying to force it to where people you gonna try to force people to give you your flowers, and
They giving you your flowers.
yeah, but it's not.
When is enough enough? Right now, to me, if you've ever seen Paid in Full,
I
he's got
have.
he's got that money making Mitch mentality. I don't know if I'm gone. Will they still cheer for me? I need this. This is me. As much of philanthropy that you have outside of there, something is holding you here to where you can't sit there and honestly say, I'm ready to go home.
He wants people to call him the GOAT. Like I said, he's trying.
You're never going to get it.
No,
You're never going to get the unit. There is never going to be. If that's the case, then we have to. This is our fault, and it might end up hurting that man to where that man's livelihood once he quits is not going to be that good, because we already know you didn't did everything you could to keep your body up the way that it is up until this point. What's going to happen when you stop playing? Are you going to keep on training like that and paying for all that to keep your body up?
good
So
question.
you're pretty much, if you're trying to hold on to the fact of you trying to be you trying to have the Paul Heyman intro every time you come out there, the reigning, defending,
Yeah,
unbeaten, undisputed heavyweight champion of the NBA,
yeah,
you can't do that. You're never going to be that, because there's a guy with a number 23 that's on more merchandise than your stuff, and you've been out for 24 years with your own merchandise.
and 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 at the end of the day, it there used to be a time where the point of breaking records was doing it the quickest, not the longest.
Right. And the longevity of it has made it to where now all these people, all these squares make a circle. And it's getting bad. It's getting very bad. Because it's like I
It's
don't even know what to even I don't even know how to even put it for it to be workable for you anymore. I can't even, there's nothing you can tell me that makes it to where you're getting, there's nothing you can tell me that makes it work for me to be able to say, you know what, y'all, you got it. You are the GOAT. And I'm loving the fact of now the conversation has started to turn to between to what I've been saying for the longest time and what you've said. There is no GOAT. It's GOATs for eras. There's best in eras. It's not one definitive GOAT. When the GOAT sits there and says it's GOATs in eras, I can't compare myself to this person or to this person because the rules was different. Once the GOAT that everybody that everybody measures to comes out and says ain't no GOAT. That should be the end of the discussion.
But people are still talking about it, and
Right.
so
But this shows how we how list and comparisons drive the narratives. Does anybody sit there and say Bruce Lee is not the GOAT, is not the best kung fu fighter in the world?
pretty much, yeah.
Even though you got Jet Li, you had Jackie Chan, you had Chuck Norris, all these different people that it came up in there. Do anybody ever goes up and say that Bruce Lee ain't the GOAT?
Maybe diehard Chuck Norris fans, but
Right. Maybe diehard Chuck Norris fans, but nobody debates it.
no, not no,
But
not
Bruce Lee always sits there and says, I'm not, I'm didn't make myself the best. I tried to be the best for me.
right. Yeah,
So if
very humble.
very humble with it. So if Jordan, who has no reason, we know from the Last Dance, he's not too humble.
No, he's not.
If he sits there and says there is no GOAT, I can't compare myself to other eras with that. That's the most humble you're gonna hear that person ever be.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
take that as a grain of salt and let it ride out to say this is if he's saying that there is
But
no GOAT from that, and everybody else that sat there and said after that, you know what, he's right. Let it go.
but but the other part of it is for the new eras, there has to be a new face. Just like in the NBA, they're like, who's the new face? Because they still trying to get rid of Jordan. Jordan is still, even though LeBron is the face, Jordan's still the face.
Here's the problem. Here's the reason why you can't get rid of Jordan, right? And let's be real. Here's the reason why you can't get rid of Jordan. The man has made more from outside of his playing career than during playing for your NBA.
Yeah,
He helped raise your NBA to the international prominence with the Dream Team and what he did on the tours with that in order to make it to where you have Luka Doncic, you have Nikola Jokic, you have Antetokounmpo, you have Tim Duncan, you have all the different international stars that have came in here and in there. So you got a two-time. There has not been an American freaking a full-blown American-born MVP in almost a decade.
yeah,
So he's done that for you. Oh, by the way, if you look on your jerseys, most of the jersey has his logo on it.
yeah, yeah.
So, and think about it. The person that you're comparing him to with that, he's opened up schools. He's opened up production companies. He's tied into the most powerful agent firm in the league in the league right now. He has his ties and everything, right?
Yeah.
But does he have his fingers sunk into the NBA to where if he was to go away, you would have any resemblance of him besides his records? He can go away today. You're not going to see a crown on no NBA jerseys. You're going to
Right.
see that jump man. No matter what happens, all the records in the world, everything that you can say, the longevity, everything else with it. I applaud you completely when it comes to that. You're never taking that spot. There's two things that's synonymous with the NBA. Jerry West is the logo, and the jump man is everywhere.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the be all end all. And you can play until you 50. You'll be the first person to play the 50 to try to become something that you had no chance of really achieving. As soon as you lost the championship.
And and the whole thing with the lack of killer mentality, the whole thing of
Every part of it.
being logged as like literally you saw when he would like quote unquote stop playing hard. You saw it.
Yeah, you saw it. And that's what I'm saying. It's not. It's not a knock against them. Some people got it. Some people have the God-given ability and the athletic ability to be great. But some people also have that mental acumen to where ain't nobody gonna take my spot.
Yeah.
And that's what he doesn't have.
And this man's so competitive, he trying to take over NASCAR now.
Right. He sued NASCAR to get equal play and then came out and said, you know what? That's not good enough. I won, but I want to win on the track too.
Right.
And they've been dominating. That's why I'm saying, like, nah, man, this is too much. It's too many different things that's in there to where it is not all that it's cracked up to be, and they should not have made it to where it was how much it played into the factor with it. But it
All
is what it is.
right. So yeah, to keep my promise, we late by 5 minutes, but that's all right.
That's all right.
Um, this has been fun. I oh God, this is just too there is like literally like so much going on. And we didn't even get to Aaron being that I meant to talk about Aaron actually showing up for the OTAs.
Oh, he signed the contract today.
Yes, he did.
I'm
Uh,
so proud. He's my kid
ma-
decided he did exactly what I thought he should do. Because let's be real, he would have waited to the beginning of the season with a brand new head coach and came in there thinking that he was going to jump in there because he knows Mike McCarthy and thought he wasn't going to get hit. They asses handed to them. It would have been sadly mistaken.
do you think them drafting the quarterback was also a hint?
Mm-mm. Nope.
Now, if they can, if that offensive line can maintain itself, yeah, I know. That's why I said if, and it's a very, very big if. If that offensive line can maintain itself to a level of trust, we saw what he could do when he was able to trust the line with the Jets, and that was with the Jets.
Yeah.
We saw what the line looked like. And matter of fact, they did the same thing with him that they did with Russ. At the beginning of the season, the line looked really good. He was able to get the ball downfield. He wasn't as squirrely, but as the season went on, line went down. He got squirrely. Didn't want to be hit, understandably, especially
Yeah.
being that old. And you could say what what you want, and you're not wrong.
I just I
I'm telling you, if with Mike McCarthy being there, there is a chance for Pittsburgh to actually be good. But that line is so important because even in Dallas, how did he do in Dallas until the line went the way
the
it
line
did?
is going to be important for any of them coming out of here.
Right. And
The biggest thing that I'm saying, even if the line is good, is that in the moments to where that line might break down, is he good enough to get to escape long enough in order to do that at his age?
or will they call the right plays? And seeing that he's showing up pretty much at the beginning of the OTAs, is he going to maintain a relationship with everybody offensively and get on one accord to where he'll be able to call the audibles like he wants to call the audibles, and they'll know what to do and how to do it?
Time will tell. I
Yes.
don't, and I don't like feeling like I'm beating up, beating a dead horse, but that horse did.
Yeah, it
I don't. I want it to be the most competitive AFC North that it can be. But
right.
in this setup right now, Pittsburgh is the number 3 team in that league. in that division
Yeah, until they show otherwise.
until
Well,
they show
actually,
until they show otherwise.
actually, I I don't know about the Ravens right now.
I don't either, but the Ravens have shown enough to where I have to give them some credence in there.
I want to, I can't. I just that whole thing, the way it ended. Okay, you got a new coach in here. Okay, that's cool, but you still got Lamar. And the question is which Lamar do you have? Is there going to be a change within him, or is he going to be the same? And you got a whole new regime catering to it.
True. This is
It
true.
it is the owner sounded like he was open to working with Lamar while letting him know like this is my team. I liked that part, but the question is how firm is he on that?
Yeah, that is true.
That's I want to know how firm he is on it. Is he firm on it to the point to where if the coach got a problem with him that he's going back to coach?
that is going to be the biggest question. That definitely is going to be the biggest question
Because
because realistically, at the end of the day, does he have it to where is is his is his wherewithal with them? He's in the same boat that we were talking about with some of the with Lamar's in the same boat as LeBron.
he has to win.
He has to win,
Him and Josh, they have to win.
and if they don't, this shit's about to be ugly.
Yeah, they have to win. I don't care what nobody say. When the coach gets fired and he has to take the blame,
And he's
ev-
been sticking his neck out for you all these times throughout this time frame.
same thing with the Knicks. The Knicks have to win. If
Yes,
there is no way they can't lose to Cleveland. They have to win the championship. There is no if anything happens and they do anything but win the championship. But they got to the conference finals like they did with Thibodeau. And you said he was the problem why y'all couldn't get over.
wait a minute,
So
didn't they get to the final stage? No, Indiana did.
yeah,
Yeah, they're gonna have to figure out something because if they don't,
they literally have to win.
they
And
have they
nobody
have no
I'm
choice. They
surprised
have
nobody has talked
they
about
have to
that
win. They have to win.
recently. That they have to win.
Yeah, you're right. They're gonna have to win. There's no way around that to where they can't. They have to do something.
And
And
that's why I'm not diminishing my Spurs and the Thunder, but that's what's making the Cleveland because Cleveland was supposed to have done something last year, but injuries beat them all to hell. Now they
right,
got James Harden. James Harden seems to be finding his consistency because everything doesn't have to lean on him. Donovan Mitchell is finding his part because everything don't have to lean on him.
yeah,
And then you got to explain to me how they gonna shut. How is New York gonna shut them down?
this is true. This is true as well. Yeah,
You don't have the injury bug with Allen and Mobley this year,
no,
so
you should. Yeah, you. It's. Yeah,
and then Schroeder coming. Like I said, Schroeder's coming off the bench. He coming off the bench, and they have people coming off the bench coming in, bringing. This is gonna be the toughest part of everything for the Knicks.
yeah, and that's why it's going to be interesting to see how they can pull it together. I want to see what I want to see this going through, and I know game one of the West just tipped off, and I have not seen.
Oh,
Uh,
did it?
yeah, it tipped off. Game one was tonight.
Oh, I'm slipping. All right. Well, again, it's been fun. We're gonna do this again next week. Um, I'm Dante Suave. This is Mr. J.
Later,
We'll just
everybody. Have
yeah,
a good week. It's a holiday week, and we are. I'll tell you guys about it on Monday. All right. Later.
yep, later.